Shavkat, how are you?
I-
How
I'm
is
good.
it?
Good,
I'm
good.
great.
So listen, we spoke 2 years ago, Shavkat, and you declared at that time you would be UFC champion in 2 years. Obviously, you would have had your chance this Saturday, UFC 310. Bilal Muhammad has the injury. What was your reaction when you heard last month that the fight would be off?
Yeah, أريني رياكس بالمهم.
Yeah, of course, I was upset, but it's something that I cannot control. I believe, I still gonna have opportunity to fight for the belt next and become a champion.
Right, of course. And this is a title eliminator fight you have coming up this weekend. Ian Garry, 5 rounds. Like I said, non-title fight, but it kind of almost does it feel to you like this almost is like a championship fight and in terms of the level of importance?
Yeah, bulldog champion.
Yeah, for sure. Even though it's not a championship fight, it's a big fight for me. So, I'm really motivated to get that win against undefeated fighter as Ian Garry.
Now it's really for you become kind of this regular thing lately, change of opponents the last couple years. Are you just used to them now? Was there a time when it maybe bothered you a little more than possibly it does now when you have a new opponent has to step in?
Yeah, أريني بارنا positive thing.
I really like to think about everything in a positive way, and I don't worry about stuff that not under my control. You know, People get injuries and they decide to pull out from the fight. And if I talk about myself, yeah, even though I still gonna have some injuries, small injuries, I myself prefer to still stay on the card and fight.
Of course, of course. And that's the reality of the business, right? But this is still a 5 round fight, as we mentioned. You've had scheduled 5 round fights before you were in the UFC. But you're 18 and 0. You've never seen the end of the third round even. So you've certainly not been tested in those championship rounds yet. For you, how different is it preparing for 5 rounds versus three?
Skin, I am.
Yeah, there's a little bit of change in preparation for 5 round fight, but I'm ready to go all five.
When you're going through training and that kind of thing, I imagine you're testing yourself a little longer, maybe putting in more rounds of sparring. When you do get to those later rounds of training, how do you feel? Do you feel strong in there? What does it feel like?
With his name.
I feel great in these later rounds too, I cannot say that it's too difficult. Obviously, it's not an easy sport, but it's part of it. You have to go through hard moments and still get the win.
Now, this is your only fight this year. You've strictly fought once or twice a year with the UFC since you arrived, but this is almost 12 months off, which is not typical. How was the experience of this year away from competition for you? And would you have preferred to get a second fight in?
Yeah, yeah, also Jolla.
Yeah, I had to take care of my health and take care of some injuries, so I couldn't be more active this year. But my plan for next year is, to fight twice.
Now, obviously, you're actually not the only one in your family who had a bit of a longer layoff in mixed martial arts. Your younger sister Sora, she last fought. She was supposed to fight in September at Contender Series, was unable to be able to do that. She hasn't fought since either. I wonder what's the status of your sister and her career.
Но, говорит, в вашей семье не у тебя самый долгий простой
Мгм.
профессиональной карьеры ссора.
Да, она завершила, можно сказать.
Да. So he said she already, you can say she retired.
Okay, all right. Well, best of luck to her,
Mhm.
of course, in the next phase of her life, right? Going back to you and Ian, though, I know you have been asked this a bunch of times. You guys have sparred together at Killcliff in the past. There's the footage that was posted. You'd said you tapped him out with a choke that wasn't seen. I was curious though, had you two gotten the chance to interact outside of sparring when you guys were at Killcliff? Do you have any thoughts on him as a person and your dealings with him?
çok اشكال.
No, we didn't really meet outside training. We just met during the sessions, and I knew at the time that he's also on a path to be in the top of the division, and again that we're gonna meet one day. So I cannot say he's my friend. It's just sport interest. To find out who's better fighter.
Is there anything about kind of sparring with somebody like that who you believe that is going to be in your future and obviously clearly is, where when you spar with them as opposed to someone who may not necessarily perceive as so soon on your radar, do you spar with them differently?
Bilmiyorum, şunu айтсам ондай қатты ой болған жоқ.
You know, to be fair, I didn't think about it this way. For me, sparring is opportunity to get better, to improve my technique, and that's how I look at it.
Now, he's spoken recently about his grappling work with legends like Charles Oliveira, Damian Maia, but there's this popular idea out there that you're going to have this big edge on the ground, and we've obviously seen you be very strong on the ground in these ground positions. How do you perceive that element of the fight?
Оны
You know, I believe, the fight will show whose grappling is better, and there's no meaning to say much now.
This is the last fight of the year. This is also a title eliminator fight. Bilal Muhammad would apparently await the winner of this fight. Uh, he's obviously been cleared to work out again this week, he had mentioned, but also, when would you like to get in there? When you hope that that fight can happen if you do win this fight this weekend?
оны ойлап
Yeah,
көреміз.
we'll see. We'll think about it after the fight. It will depend on the UFC calendars too, when they want this.